Hi, my name is Joe. Welcome to my channel.
This is my story about how I met my psychopathic husband. 5 years ago, I married the sweetest and most handsome man in the world, and I thought I was the happiest woman in the world. However, I did not know a terrible hell awaits behind that happiness at that time. After the wedding, we were having so sweet a time every day. Then one morning, I tried to open my eyes with a strange feeling, but couldn't open my eyes. I woke up screaming and realized that there was something sticky covering my eyes, nose, and mouth. And I dimly saw my husband smiling and holding something in front of me. I shouted, being startled, "What are you doing?" Then he said, "Honey, I was putting some honey on your face to make your skin look better." I pushed him and ran outside. My face was messed up with honey, and the honey flew into my eyes, nose, and mouth, making it hard to see and breathe. Then he shouted, "Let's have breakfast," and took the bread and shoved it into my mouth. My throat was choking, so I couldn't breathe properly. I screamed in pain and shouted for help, but he kept squeezing bread into my mouth so I couldn't speak. Shortly, I blacked out in the end. When I opened my eyes, I was in a hospital and saw my husband crying next to me. He was shaking his shoulders like crazy, but it turned out he wasn't crying. He was actually laughing. I couldn't grasp reality for a while, hardly understanding why I was lying in the hospital. Then he said, "If you pass out, I can't play with you anymore, honey. Next time, if you feel like you'll pass out, tell me in advance. Then I'll give you a break." I just realized the situation and screamed in anger. "Why are you acting like a psycho all of a sudden?" He answered after a short silence, "I've been waiting for this moment for the past 3 years. So long." His face looked to be thrilled. I was so shocked, so I burst into tears and shouted to him that I will call the police. Then he jumped up and shouted, "Shut up! Do you know how happy I am right now? Don't ruin my mood." He immobilized me, grabbing both of my hands. He held me in the hospital room for the rest of the day. Then he suddenly whispered softly, "In the meantime, I've been thinking about how to have fun with you every day, and I came up with a lot of ideas. Thank you for marrying me. Now I can play with you as much as I like." I cried at him in shock. "Why the hell? Why?" Then he laughed and licked my tears and whispered in my ear with a very small voice, "You are always a person who is always smiling." I hated saying that. "So from now on, I'll always make you depressed. I'll make you live the rest of your life crying every day. Your tears are the most delicious to me." He laughed madly. I spit in his face, and he pulled back, covering his face. Then I dashed out of the room and ran to the police station. And I begged the police not to let him come next to me. And I went through divorce proceedings with him right away. Fortunately, I was able to slowly get away from him and started going back to a normal life. Sometime after I broke up with him, he texted me for the last time. "It is a pity. I still had a lot left to do with you." Eventually I divorced him, and then what I heard about him was so shocking. It turned out that he had already been married and divorced 3 times before he married me. And I was told that all 3 of his ex-wives committed suicide. Then finally I realized that he was looking for a toy to play with, not a marriage partner. But I was not tricked. Of course, I've had a hard time receiving psychiatric treatment for several years, but now overcame it. The day he left for the last time is still unforgettable. He took a Barbie doll out of his pocket. A string was tied around the doll's neck. Then he lifted the rope and let the doll hang by itself. And he said, "That's a pity. I wanted to make you like this." And he slammed the door shut and never came back. I gained a great realization since then. The realization is that human beings are more terrifying than devils. And those beings with a human's appearance, but are actually devils, are walking around you now as well.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel to get our latest exclusive videos. Plus, hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.